Friendship supreme. Friendship supreme. Finding the geek within.
Hey everybody, my name is Michael.
My name's Cleve.
And welcome back to another exciting episode of Friendship.
Supreme.
One of the podcasts
so
that dares one of the podcasts that dares to ask, who's your favorite X-Men?
It was Wolverine for a long time. It still might be Wolverine. But I think it's because he was just short and aggressive and like easy to identify with for me.
You know, weirdly, my brother's favorite would have been Wolverine as well, and he's also a very aggressive individual, so it pans out.
Nightcrawler was one for me for a long time. I think I might still be my favorite. Do you have a favorite?
From the 90s cartoon, it would have at the time probably been Beast. Comic book wise, either Rogue or Gambit.
That's
right. Who doesn't love fucking Frasier? I almost said Seinfeld.
Very few people would say Thunderbird. I don't know if you remember Thunderbird.
Racism. That's the Native American guy, right?
What is this racism?
That's the Native American guy that we really.
He is the Native American guy. He was a mutant. December 18th, 2019, we actually did an episode called Talking X-Men, Retcons, Krakoa, and Genesis, where we talked about the giant size X-Men and the retcon we did for it. And in the giant size X-Men, which was released May 1975, we were introduced to a lot of the primary team that wasn't the primary team, right? So we got Storm, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, Colossus, Thunderbird, Sunspot,
yeah,
and others. Sorry, it's a long time ago. And Thunderbird was handled not well. Because back then, you would just think, what's the most stereotypical thing I could say for a Native American? And then that's what we put on this one character. So he made his first appearance in the Giant Size X-Men back in 75. He's an Apache warrior with enhanced speed, strength, and sense of like combat personality. Butted heads with Cyclops a lot, which sounds like a lot of like another really popular X-Men character. And they killed him off a good 3 issues later. Thunderbird was killed in Uncanny X-Men 95. After Count Nefaria, I'm not familiar with that villain, took control of North American Air Defense Command Center at the Cheyenne Mountain in the Colorado Rockies. The X-Men raced to save the day. When the Count escaped on a small plane, Thunderbird ignored warnings from both Banshee and Xavier, jumped on the plane and took off. He was like really set to be like a true Apache warrior. He began to like smash the plane with his fists. Count Nefaria managed to escape the plane, and then the plane exploded, and Thunderbird was dead. Which is like the most unheroic, I guess, way to kill off one of these characters to me. Like,
the villain got away. Nothing came from it. Yeah, it's rough.
So, and he's been dead since then. Like, they've brought back his spirit a couple times.
That
but
also almost feels stereotyping, but yeah, okay.
yeah, they did it with a lot of them, so it was
Okay.
okay. It wasn't just him.
Okay.
So following the creation of the mutant nation of Krakoa, the mutants group of five um, decided that that had died before their time should have been resurrected, and they brought back John Proudstar, which is his actual name, which is a really cool little thing. John Proudstar, and they gave him a little one-off standalone comic.
Okay.
Giant size X-Men Thunderbird. They changed his look, made him look a lot better,
Yeah.
and not so.
I do want to point out it wasn't just X-Men that did the
Correct.
Native American. Both Mortal Kombat and GI Joe did it. Just off the top of the head.
Yes, very much so. So he was brought back to life and welcomed by Storm and Banshee. This story is written by Nyla Rose and Steve Orlando. Nyla Rose is both Native American and African American. Her native side being of Oneida. I don't think I've ever heard that hit my ear before, so I don't want to mispronounce it and be shitty. Heritage. She grew up watching wrestling with her grandmother and began training to wrestle in college. She began transitioning around that same time, so she's transgender. Um, the first transgender in the AWE or AEW Wrestling League, which is cool. Steve Orlando is known for his work on DC Comics, writing for Batman, Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and 2 series of Midnighter, which were nominated for the GLAAD Media Awards.
Nice.
Yeah.
So pretty accoladed writing team.
Right. I also found out in looking up this information on how we just decided to bring back this fucking guy who's been dead since 75. The X-Men are now voted into position. So at any point, someone on the X-Men team can not be voted out, but they can not be reelected to continue to be on the team. So everyone's seat on the X-Men team is open to being moved out, which I thought was interesting and like a democratic way of handling who's on the team.
Unlike the 7 from The Boys.
Yes. Or unlike, the X-Men from before, where Cyclops was like, I'm the leader, and as long as I don't leave, nobody else is the leader.
Get fucked.
Yep. So in this comic, I don't want to spoil too much, but he comes back to life. And he doesn't feel at home on Krakoa. Like, he just doesn't feel welcome there, and he wants to go back home to Arizona, which I don't know why anybody would ever want to do that. But he goes back in search of his grandmother, who he knows is still living there. That he gets there and he finds out that.
How much time has lapsed in the comic book? Is it like a 5-year snap kind of?
I don't know.
Are we talking the whole 50 years?
I guess we can't technically, right? Because then everyone should be old.
Right.
So that's an interesting question. It does not give me that kind of information.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm looking to see if there's anything that kind of indicates it.
The MCU won't stop shoving down my throat the fact that there was 5 years missing for a lot of people.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I'll have to look up and see if I can find that information and add it in later. So he finds out that all of his people on his land were taken by the Heritage Initiative, which Tails all the time are just shitty people who don't like mutants and try to like dissect them and find out more about them.
Weirdly, almost like it's a commentary on things to go on here. It's weird.
That is odd. So
I would think that.
So the Heritage Initiative shows up at the reservation, and the elders of the village won't tell them who's a mutant. They just refuse. And they said, okay, we're just going to take everybody. And so he's like, okie dokie. So they all get riled up. They all get taken. So this man dons his new suit that he has custom made for himself and walks into the police station. And he's like, let me see. The people in camp Guys who let them go. And the sheriff is a country old white man who decides that he's not going to do shit. And he's like, you can't order, tell me what to do, yada yada. And there's one little small panel I love where he turns away from the sheriff who's like behind glass and he says, anyone looking to pay for those words, find the door. Anyone not looking to pay for those words, find the door.
Mm-hmm.
And like you just see the people like scurry off the screen, and then he reaches through the glass and pulls his fucking head out and just starts kind of whooping people's ass until he starts getting the answers. Still very hot-headed. Someone tries to shoot him and it bounces off his face, which apparently is part of his strength, and just starts fucking annihilating the police station. Like, just fucks it up. And I enjoy that they got AEW Superstar to write this. I enjoy that they brought back this character who is just as wrongfully done as possible.
Right.
They also mention Warpath, which is James Proudstar, which is John's brother.
Who? I don't know that. I knew they were related, but I do know Warpath.
Interesting enough that you mentioned that, and we were talking about timelines. He has a picture of him where John is an adult and James is a child, and when they see each other again, they are both adults. So a significant amount of time had to have passed in order for him to age up, or time space continuum. Who the fuck knows? But retcon.
Oh, Marvel comic books! How you don't give a fuck about anything?
Yeah, but I thought it was very cool and very interesting, and it came out.
I'm just gonna ask when this released.
Have the date? I'm gonna swing and say May 4th. I definitely need to double check, but I'm gonna just fucking throw it at the wall and say May 4th.
What's that?
I said I'm gonna double check right now. Keep talking.
Yeah.
Also, if you Google Thunderbird #1, a lot of missiles come up.
A lot of what?
Missiles.
Ah.
April 4th. Or published May 4th.
He cheated, guys. He was looking at it the whole time.
I remember looking it up when I started doing this on the information. I was like, so yeah, All Elite Wrestling superstar Nyla Rose slams into Krakoa with a back-breaking one-shot featuring the first X-Men to die in action, which I don't know if a lot of people know that.
I know that they're calling it a one-shot. Is their intention then to give him his own series, depending on how this goes, I guess?
Well, I assume like a lot of one-shots or limited series, they're like, look at this world, and they wait. And if it's perceived well, hey, we'll make some money off that.
Right.
And if it's not, then, they fail.
Marvel's the worst.
Let's see. In the mega size one shot, Rose teams up with comic star Steve Orlando and the First Nations artist David Coulter to grapple with the ramification of Thunderbird's recent resurrection. the world star John Proudstar has returned to is completely different from the one he once knew. Looking to find refuge in his family, Thunderbird seeks out someone from his past at the Apache reservation. I already spoiled that it's his grandmother, and uncovers a horrifying threat to his indigenous mutant community. Will Thunderbird be able to save his people, or will his justified rage lead him astray? He does threaten to murder, man. Spoiler for that. That's really good because, you know, he has the right to.
I was trying to think. I was thinking that it would almost be. What does it do a disservice to make him just a rage machine rather than someone that could have been more calm and ridiculous about it?
You know, especially how they dressed him in the beginning, it would almost been, you know, the icing on the cake to make him this wise, you know, figure. I guess. I don't know. I, you know, not being Native American, I can't speak on it.
Right.
But I mean, I was also kind of like, I know how to write, you know, leader Boy Scouts, rage monsters, and girls who need to be rescued. So
I was tapping back to when we watched Harder They Fall. And I was thinking about the characters that were in that, and the ones that I think I liked the most were the ones that weren't hot-headed and like were like real calm and like you'd expect them to be super angry about things going on, but like at the same time there's that like cold, callous, methodical mentality behind it that I was just thinking about. I don't know, but yeah.
No, I feel you. But yeah, I think people should check it out, especially if it's just a one shot. What do you got to lose?
Right. I agree, though. I don't get an opinion on it. I don't really have a.
And I'm more than okay with saying it. Like,
yeah, I don't have a dog in the fight of knowing.
The only thing I wanted to say, and the whole reason we're doing this is to, you know, the 5 people that listen to us to promote that it's out there.
Yeah.
And that you can also read it.
And it's only in one shot, so there's $4. There you go. Well, probably 5. I'm Marvel now.
Word.
Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, make sure you hit like, subscribe, comment down below on things you would like to hear about next. If you guys want to read this issue, go pick it up at your local comic book store. Go support local comic book stores. They fucking need it, man.
Whoop, whoop.
If you guys want to reach out to us and talk to us about anything else that you'd like to hear about, you guys can always reach out to us on our social medias. That is Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Patreon, YouTube. They're all Friendship Supreme, except for Twitter. Friendship Supreme with no eyes, because all eyes should be here on our YouTube channel, so you can watch Cleve and I do dances and stuff. And really, to get to see Cleve's pop collection behind him and his new shirts he always has.
This is an old shirt.
I made this shirt. It says "Fuck SCOTUS," and so like every once in a while
we took a stance. Eat shit.
Eat a knife. Anyways, hopefully you guys had a great day. Hopefully you guys had a good time listening. We appreciate all of you. We will talk to you guys next time. I'm Michael.
This is Cleve.
Xmen, congregate.